Boom, boom, there we go. Episode number 37 coming to you right now. I keep looking around the room, around the table, and it looks like everybody's distracted because we've got the race playing in the background over here on Peacock, and everybody's staring over there watching.
Hey, I'll talk like this with my eyeballs looking over there.
Everybody's over there watching the replays, which I've already watched it twice.
I can't see it because Peter's head's away.
Well, episode 37 kicking off right here. I've got myself, co-host Mr. Sugar Shane. We've got our man behind the machine that makes everything happen, Mr. Tyler Kasha. Returning guest for this week, Mr. Dave Dookie, with us. Thank you, Mr. Dave, for being here. We also have a new guest, Mr. Peter Parente. Peter,
yep.
Glad to have you here, bud. We do want to do a show about you, Peter, about your history and growing up racing and stuff like that. But this particular show, episode 37, had a lot of big things happening last night. Anaheim won. So we do a A1 review. I don't even know where to begin on this. So I'm going to start with
at the beginning.
Let's just an overview overall of, the vibe of A1, the pits of A1, and watching the people walk in, and we saw the pictures of that new Lawrence Brothers, factory area or setup that they have, which looks super cool.
I'm glad I didn't take that job. Because I think the truck driver is the one that's walking around, dressed up like Hunter Lawrence with the big head.
Yeah.
That was him.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, no, that ain't me. That ain't me.
That is you.
No.
You don't even have to put a mask on or anything. You got a big head, walk around.
No, so seeing that was neat, and the different teams, obviously every year you go to A1, you get new gear, new graphics, people switching up brands. So, it's always exciting, just like looking at Chase Exton, for example. When was the last time you saw him on anything other than a Honda and being number 23, So now with him being on an orange bike and being number 1, that was cool to see. And some of the
Cruella de Vil gear that he was wearing with that Dalmatian looking stuff.
Yeah, I was not a fan of that.
No?
No, I was not a fan. I almost thought it would look more like a Wonder Bread bag than like, I didn't think Dalmatian.
Wonder Bread.
Cruella de Vil. Wow, that's some old school stuff right there, Tyler.
Yeah.
I am old. It didn't look like a cow, or I wanted to say Holstein cattle, but then they were just dots.
I thought everybody looked good.
I thought so too.
Yes and no.
Everybody comes out styling.
I think there's always, other people do the whatever they call it, the lit kit or best dressed award or whatever. And I definitely think there's some that win. And, the gear companies are stepping up. One thing, I saw a post, and was this real or not? Is One Industries coming back?
Don't get my hopes up.
No, I
didn't see that post.
I thought I saw a post somewhere.
Kaylana posted him wearing it.
I thought I saw a post somewhere of One Industries is making a comeback. Gear. But, between Canvas, that making custom stuff, and obviously your main brands, Fox brings out that brand new outfit or onesie, I would call it, for Craig, which we'll get into that later. We'll talk about that one. But, new bikes, new graphics. I follow most of the social media because of not being at the race through either Twitter or Instagram, and you see the different setups. And one thing I will give credit where credit's due, and that's Chris Kiefer put up probably one of the cleanest looking bikes in the entire pit, Justin Starling. That 66 Honda is just a sharp looking bike.
He's a man of class if he recognized Starling's bike.
Yeah, Kiefer's the one that put it up and took a picture of it, and I like it. And
Didn't we talk about that on the episode? Wasn't it Starling that was here on the episode, and he was talking about like he's super particular about the bike look, and
yeah,
his bikes are
always very
right on point. They're nice,
very clean. But going from that A1, anything that jumped out to you guys as far as before the race had even began, pit setups or going into the week or showing up and arriving that you saw, between different people or the people that talk to?
I don't know if you know this, but sometimes truck drivers have their own sponsors.
Okay.
I had one. I was sponsored by Mother's Polish.
Okay.
Back in the day, actually, I had to go to Mother's in Huntington Beach and this and that got sponsored. So kind of put the logo on the truck and this and that. But Big B, because I follow him and good friends with him, he's got a Traeger, I think, sponsorship. And they wrapped, so he has a Traeger with the front end table or whatever, and they wrapped. I don't know who does his graphics. He gave him props on it, but on the table it looks like the whole scene from Cousin Eddie's house from the first vacation. And you know, where they show up to the house to go visit them with the dead aunt or whatever, and they're all sitting around the table and eating, cooking hot dogs and all this stuff. But then they put in the background the Team Green box van from back in the day, sitting back by the barn. I don't know if you saw that, but I thought that was kind of cool.
No, I'll post it up. I'll post it up for those watching.
Yeah. But he's always got some kind of like crazy tricks with his Traegers.
No, hey, that's cool.
Cool.
Sponsored by Traeger?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I did not see that.
Yeah.
I saw the post from Kenny Day or Fox that put up about the Christian Craig. You know, they have a name for it. I need to look it up real quick, but they showed how
romp him.
They showed how to put it on, you know, and the design of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, you talk about innovative. I mean, that's an innovative.
Is the zipper in the front or the back?
I don't think there is a zipper.
It's not a zipper, it just fits.
Well, you keep saying onesie, so I remember my zipper went from my toe up to my chest.
I think it's got a little
like
zipper
one
right here.
long zipper.
Zipper right here.
No,
it's a
look
little
at the post. You can follow Fox Moto and you can see, but you know they I want to say they call it like the speed suit or something. Don't hold me to that because I might be wrong, but I'll look it up when we're talking. But you know, just that kind of stuff leading up to it. You know, I mean, I'm watching Aaron Kane with Oakley, following him on social media.
New innovations is what you're saying.
Seeing him getting new riders or getting their product out and getting everything ready. So that was fun for me leading up, and I think that's where a lot of the hype of A1 comes from, right? So they hype this race up so much, and we talked about this before we started this episode. We were just sitting here kind of chit chatting, and they talk about A1 being the pinnacle race, and then obviously Daytona's got its own vibe as well. I don't necessarily know if I agree with A1 having so much credibility, other than the fact that you get to see everybody for the first time. So these guys that have done all this work in the off season, trying to figure out where they're at, where they stack up with the rest of the guys. This is the first time you're seeing, riders on a new brand of bike with a new number or new gear, whatever, new graphics. I think that's where the hype comes from, is that everything's new at A1 because it's the first round.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I don't think it has the prestige. I think it's more just since it's the first round, it's very exciting.
Yeah.
But I did hear James say he put it on the same level of like a Daytona, which I disagree with. It's just the first round. It's a wild and crazy time, and you see everybody for the first time of the year.
I think that's where the excitement
Well, on top of that, I think we talked about it on the last episode. Look at all the guys in the 450 class now, and like it's pretty damn stacked, and so that makes it even extra exciting.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and just you're back racing.
Yeah.
You take all this time off. You go months of not being able to follow your sport that you're passionate about. It's just like the time after the Super Bowl, right? So you go from the Super Bowl and all summer long you have nothing until you get into preseason. And people that are huge football fans, I mean, this is the kickoff of the season for equivalent to football. A1 is what that is for us. So still a lot more racing to go.
What do you think all the hype's about, Peter?
I think it's mainly why they hype it up a lot is because it's one of the few times you see everyone race full. Like, no one's injured.
Yeah.
Don't have to worry like everyone else. Like, look at Nate Thrasher. He's going to be out, I think. By the looks of it, his collarbone, I think he broke.
Yeah, he's on TV right now, and he's holding that thing, so it's not looking good for him.
In the back of the medical mule on the replay from last night. No, I agree with that. Everybody starts the season off, as healthy as you can. Obviously, there was down a few, a couple minor, Masterpool wasn't there. Colt Nichols was not there, but still stacked.
Majority.
Yeah, stacked field. Majority were there. Obviously, as the season goes on, you probably end up losing a few, throughout the season just because of the nature of the game. But yeah, I could definitely agree with that. Why A1 would get more of a hype is because everybody is, there and healthy and happy. But all right, so outside of the overview and leading up to A1, one of the things that I noticed in some of the pictures there of being in the pits, what's your thoughts on the blue number plate, yellow 18 on that Honda?
It's actually purple.
Yeah, that's
It's supposed to be blue. but it's
purplish. Yes.
Oh,
It
good.
should be, yeah.
I thought it was going to be a weird color. You're saying it's purple.
purple.
I think it looks purple too. And
It's supposed
and
to be the.
if it's supposed to be
SMX
blue,
round.
then I'm colorblind.
Well, if you go to Racer X, Davey kind of explained it, and I can't remember how he explained it, but I think that's the color they wanted.
yeah.
And the old style, back when Bailey and those guys ran, it was a blue
Yeah.
with a yellow or gold number or
Yeah, when it was-
yellowish colored number.
When it was Camel Supercross.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
So why? Okay, so naturally the evolution of that is purple.
Well, I think what Peter was trying to say is
think it's a
that they
mistake.
they were trying to match the SMX logo colors.
Because last
to
year
the
they were
plate.
that purple and that light yellowish color.
Oh, that could be.
They were trying to match the SMX logo to the plate to show that was the SMX champion.
Right.
So when he's not running the red plate, which now he has earned,
Yeah. So then so then home skillet's going to run red, and there's no more purple next weekend.
yeah, and unless he
Unless he loses the
red
plate.
plate, then he
Gotcha.
goes back to that blue or purple.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to give my opinion on that. Not a fan.
No.
Not a fan either.
Well, why
absolutely
not?
I just do not like the color combinations on the number plate, especially on
Well,
a
really,
Honda.
you can't tell what color it is until you're close to it.
Yeah, but even that, I mean, it's just like,
I thought it looked good on the Honda.
Yeah. What is it? Just how it looks that you don't like, or
Yes.
what? Just I don't like it. Yeah.
It'll
It's
look
just-
better on a KTM.
I don't know.
Not.
Or what about the principle behind it? What do you think about that?
I get the idea. You're trying to show who the SMX champion, previous SMX champion was, because they said that, he's going to run it this for 450s, and then Deegan's going to run it on East Coast.
Yeah, Deegan's going to have it, they said.
So I get it, and maybe it'll look better on a Yamaha, but I just don't like that color combination, and it's just personal preference. I would say. I mean, it did remind me of the Camel, back in the day, Supercross, seeing Stanton or somebody come out there with that blue and
Yeah, and you knew, though, that's what designated him the champion.
But
I think people
was
were in question last night because there's a lot of new people that don't understand what that was. Because I don't think it was explained that he was going to come out.
Yeah.
And,
I did not catch that. I did not. I don't know if it was posted anywhere. I wasn't paying close enough attention. But when he came out, I was like, "Who made that decision
yeah,
to let him run that background?"
I didn't find out about it till Friday
yeah.
when they posted photos of the bike, and I knew what it was for, obviously, because he's the world Supercross champion. But
Well, it's not even.
it was definitely Barney purple.
yeah, it was. It was.
Yeah, I'm with you. It reminds me. Do you remember like when Heath Voss won the FIM World Supercross title, and then there was like two champions in 07 or something like that, and it just feels so contrived. Like, oh, let's make it something else. I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of how I feel right now, because you've got Jet with that color plate indicating that he's the SMX champion, but then you've got Sexton running the number 1 plate. It's like,
For this series.
I get it. Supercross series, Chase won. But he doesn't have that color number plate. Like, I don't know. It's just,
Yeah, no, I think it's confusing.
What's up with that guy on the red bike who's got that purple background?
yeah. And then you got this other guy that's running the number 1 plate.
I mean, I get he's number 1, but who's this number 18 with why is his background like that? Well,
Did he screw up his graphics?
yeah, he's a super motocross champion.
yeah.
Anyway, it's all good. I mean,
I guess if you make all the money last year, you get to wear purple on your plates.
yeah.
Well, one thing I did read, again, don't know much truth about this, but I think this was on one of Pulp's comments or tweets or whatever, that they were actually going to have Jet come out last for opening ceremonies. And Dazzy actually went and said, no, that's not right. You need to make Chase come out last.
I 100% believe that.
Yeah.
That Feld would put him last.
Well, if you think about it in the SMX terms, then Jet is your champion in the SMX overall. But in Supercross series, Chase is.
And that's what we're in, the Supercross series.
Yeah.
He's the overall champion, but he doesn't need to be introduced last.
So that's
The Supercross champion is last.
That tells me that there's maybe more emphasis or importance on the SMX over the one single series of Supercross.
That could
If
very well.
that's why they wanted it to be done
Yep.
that way.
Yeah, maybe one
I'll
day.
go for that.
yeah. But I do think that's pretty stand up of Dazzy to go in
Absolutely.
there and say,
Dazzy's got class.
yeah,
He does.
No, we're not going to do it this way.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Yeah. So that was kind of cool. Another comment from the race this weekend before we get into actual results and riding. The green lights.
Leader lights.
I don't like it.
They're too bright.
I do not like them.
No.
They were around last year.
They tried them last year. They didn't run them.
Yeah.
I don't think they ran them for every.
They ran them for sure. The only time I really noticed it was the playoffs.
They were
Yeah.
blue.
No,
Last
they-
year were blue.
I remember them being on there when we went to Anaheim 2 last year. I remember seeing some of them, but it was like almost you got kind of handpicked of who had the lights on their bike and who didn't.
I honestly
Now everybody has them because even in the LCQ, they're running leader lights in the LCQs. And in the 250 LCQ, you had 4 different leaders, and all of them had the leader lights on. The only thing I didn't like is the leader light didn't stay fast enough with who was in the lead. Like the guy in second in the 250 LCQ, he was leading, so his lights were on, and then he got passed, and the lights didn't turn off.
This is
stayed-
Supercross, and
they-
they're getting a little crazy.
I think that light's more for
The
the
fans.
people. No, the people at the race.
Yeah, to see
Because
where-
honestly, RJ's Hampshire's bike was lit up the whole time. Well, they didn't show him the whole time on TV,
Right.
Because he yard sold everybody. But I thought those lights were like when you watch a football game and you see all the lines and stuff on the field or whatever. People can't actually see that. I thought those. I didn't know that they were actual.
You thought it
lights.
was superimposed on the
I thought it
screen?
was superimposed on the bike,
no.
Yeah.
So is
and
there a guy flipping a switch somewhere?
that's what I thought last year.
I don't know if it's off of that or if it's off of the transponder.
I'd love to know how it works.
Because the reason why I said the guy that got passed that was in first in the LCQ when he
I'll
went to
ask.
second, his light stayed on for a little while, and I'm like, well, maybe it has to do with the transponder. That the transponder
You might switch it up.
is signaling, okay, now we need to change it to this guy.
Can the rider see that light?
As bright as is,
Probably.
I'm sure.
Maybe a
Well,
little
if he ain't
glare.
supposed to be looking down there anyhow, what are you looking?
Because once I found out it was real, because I was very naive on that whole light situation, I was like, man, I wonder if that would bother the guy that's, if you can see the light, if it would be a distraction.
Yeah.
So I have a question. We'll have to figure this out. Who is selling the leader lights? Who is the vendor for the leader lights? Who puts on the leader lights? When do the leader lights go on?
The mechanic for sure puts that leader light.
Well,
like
I
no,
think-
no, no
Who-
outside source is touching that bike.
I
Meaning
think
what
it's-
riders get it? If we were to ask HBI,
Now everybody has
I
it.
think everybody's got them now.
but does it go on before the night show, or until you make the night show do they go on?
I don't know.
I think it's like a transponder to where it's on from the beginning of the day.
That looks
Yeah.
like a little more than a transponder worth of wiring, though.
Yeah, I feel like that's got to be done through tech inspection or something like where they provide it to everybody.
And who gets it?
Everybody,
Yeah, I'm gonna. Assume,
anybody can be in the lead at any time.
especially in the LCQ.
So it's just part of a
I think everybody now has the opportunity to have them on their bike.
as standardized as numbers on a number plate. Now leader lights on triple clamps.
Yeah. I heard next year they're going to put brake lights on the back fender.
Might as well.
So when the guy in front of you is slowing down a little bit.
Hey, I'm
That'll
slowing down
help
for
them out a little
this.
bit.
I'm slowing down for this corner. They have it in Formula One.
And then by
Indy
20
cars?
Formula and by 2027 I heard that they're going to put blinkers for each corner. You got to turn your blinker
Sure, they'll
on.
mount it to the back of the mirror so they mount it to the back of the mirror so they can't see it.
You're not right. You're not.
I'm just
right.
saying
Don't mention that around somebody at
let's get
Formula
it,
One.
that
'cause they
hey,
will.
all right boys, that's purple as purple gets.
Yeah, so we're watching the replay.
Yeah, but you're sitting where I sit. I mean, I'm way up in this booth, like 2,100 miles away, and I can't see that's that color.
Yeah, but Dookie, you're old and colorblind, bud.
Oh God, there's Jason Anderson, who I owe Duke a horrendous apology for because he called such a good a shot on that 21
That's
of
who
JA.
controls the lights.
Duke's getting us some inside knowledge here.
So I'm not Stevie Wonder or Jeff Hoover.
Stevie Wonder.
Oh, Stevie Wonder's the one that controls the lights. Makes sense now. It's all coming together.
Exactly. He's the one that painted the number plates too.
All right, so going out beyond our number plates and our green light things, I want to start talking about some of the biggest surprises, the biggest letdowns, and then talking about the results of the race. So I'm going to start, heat races. Was there anything that jumped out to any of you in the heat races?
Yeah.
Volan.
Go ahead.
I think Volan from the years on KTM to now is a huge jump.
That was going to be my number one. The heat race surprise to me the most was Volan, and then I would also say in the 450s, not necessarily a huge surprise, but Roxon and Webb. I think most of us doubted some of their ability. I think if you look at even the comments on YouTube and our own picks, I don't think all of us had, Webb up there that high, and I think Roxon was kind of iffy.
I said P6.
Yeah, but P6 is, different than going out there and put the hammer down in the heat race and winning it.
Yeah. Overall, I said P6, 6,
In the
7.
main.
Honestly, the heat races, and I'll never doubt Ken Roxon.
Yeah.
He got wrapped up in obviously the first lap, but dude, the guy crushed that heat race.
Yeah.
And as well as Webb, but Kenny really stood out for me in the heat race. He'll be there for sure.
Well, I agree with Peter on the Volan thing. Very surprised on Volan. I think that we had been vocal on a previous episode last year, and we're pretty critical on Volan about having a factory ride and the results that he was putting in. And I think at some points not even making a main event. Last year we were pretty critical on him. But I will say that heat race when I was watching, I was like, okay, this guy's for real.
More than likely riding for one factory and what do you call it, failing?
Right.
It opens your eyes, or somebody has knocked you in the head hard enough to realize, hey, you don't only get so many of these chances.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And some of the guys, I asked Peter here. He races right now. Like getting a fresh start, getting on a new bike or whatever, kind of could sometimes rejuvenate you.
Sure.
And the guy's gonna go out there and try for Mitch, obviously, and Mitch can crack the whip. And
every team, personnel, staff,
it all matters.
Bikes, everything
Absolutely matters.
Everything fits everybody differently. Yeah. I mean, if you look at, Max last year on the KTM versus, last night on the Cowie, night and day difference in my opinion.
Yeah.
But then you also look at standout for me in 250s was Juju.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's my surprise.
I was surprised by Juju and Bomber on the 929 on the KTM. He made that KTM work just fine.
Absolutely did.
I mean,
but that's the thing. Like you said, outside of riding the bike, there's a lot of factors that go into it, and there's different attitudes. There's different, I've seen. I'm not calling anybody out, but I've seen negative reinforcement and positive reinforcement, and sometimes people's personalities don't jive.
Sure.
And if you have one bad race, and if you don't think that those guys are supporting you 100%, even after a bad race, it could get your brain screwed up.
Yeah.
So, I think it's a good start for him.
Yeah.
And fresh start, and he's right. Maybe the bike, like I said earlier, maybe the bike suits him a little bit better.
Suits him better, yeah.
Well, while we're still talking about the heat races, I want to talk about the 450 heat race number 1. Obviously, probably the biggest storyline of the night, the biggest shock of the night starts in the 450 heat race number 1 with Hunter Lawrence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freeze getting the whole shot, great jump. I mean, controlling the pack going into the turn, moves over onto Hunter. My opinion, I want to hear the rest of you guys' opinion, but my opinion, Freeze controlled the corner.
Absolutely.
He had the majority. He had the bike link. you know, he was ahead of everybody else. So his moves kind of dictate what the rest do. And I feel like Hunter was just kind of in the wrong place at the wrong time, I guess you could say. Freeze is moving over, but he's got Kenny on his inside, really nowhere to go, hits the back of Freeze and he goes down. I know on the broadcast, you know, JT even made the comment of, you know, well, I've had my issues with Freeze in the past. I don't see that being Freeze's fault. I mean, what do you think?
No.
He's a marked man.
Yeah.
So when something goes haywire and he's in the vicinity, they point the finger at him.
Yeah.
It's a right-hand turn. The guy's turning right.
Yeah.
You know, like he's not cut. I mean, he was half a bike length, 3/4 of a bike length ahead of Hunter.
Yeah.
Probably actually a full bike length, honestly. You know, I mean, that's just a racing incident.
Right-hand turns are tough. They're actually kind of dangerous
Yeah.
because you can't get to that brake pedal.
Right. You got your right foot out and
Yeah.
Exactly.
you got your right brake pedal.
Yep.
Well, I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on that. Going through the heat races, watching, obviously we're cheering on. We've got personal relationships. We've had, you know, plenty of previous people on these episodes that we've done on the podcast. We get to the LCQs, man, there's a lot of people that, I mean, notable names, notable people. And I'm going to talk about the 450s specifically. I'm not going to talk too much about the 250s in the LCQ, but other than the last lap or the last corner pass of the 250s was unbelievable.
Yeah.
But in the 450s, obviously Hunter, again, terrible start, almost goes down in the first turn, saves it, works his way back all the way up to fifth, goes for the last turn pass, doesn't make it. So Hunter, by far, the biggest name in the LCQs that doesn't make it. I mean, I had him in my top 5. Most people had them.
Yeah, almost everybody.
Yeah, even the people that commented on YouTube, majority of them had Hunter in their top 5. And the guy doesn't even make the main event. But you look at some of the other names. Number 44, Josh Hill. Number 62, Kevin Moranz. Number 66, Justin Starling. Number 67, Benny Bloss. You got people like Jerry Robin, Tristan Lane, Logan Carnow, Cartwright. I mean, these guys were main event guys last year. Mm-hmm. I mean, Starling made every main but one last year and didn't make it at A1. Benny Bloss, you know, Benny made majority of the mains, if not all of them last year, until I think he got hurt in Nashville. But made most of the mains. He didn't make it. You know, you don't get the number 44, Josh Hill. You don't get number 44 because you had a bad season the previous year. I mean, that's a fairly low number. That's a guy that you would expect to see in the main event. And to have that list of people that don't even make it just shows how stacked that class really is. I mean, is there anybody, I think all of us can agree Hunter is a huge surprise.
Absolutely.
But is there anybody in that list outside of Hunter that you're like, man, I really expected that guy to be there?
I thought that beta team would do better.
Yeah.
What's his name? Nichols must have got hurt at the last minute.
Nichols got hurt right before.
John Short filled in for him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
he didn't do very well.
No.
But Benny was running good, but I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was a bike problem. He rode off
Right.
with his mechanic on the back. But I thought they would at least.
Yeah.
I thought they'd make the main
Yeah. I agree.
because Benny could push him through it, if anything. You know,
Yeah. Well, and like
that kind of surprised me. You know,
we talked about on the last episode, and I've already mentioned it once on this episode, is when you think about Justin Starling, who made all but one main last year. And then this year, I actually was texting back and forth with him right before this episode started. He didn't even line up for the LCQ, DNS. So I texted him. I was like, hey, you okay? You know, what's going on? And he was like, man, had a mechanical, something happened in his heat race, ended up trying to get it fixed, wasn't able to get it fixed, wasn't able to line up for the LCQ. Going to be making some changes this weekend, but he said just overall
That is bad luck.
he said the weekend was just miserable for him.
Mechanical, you know,
Yeah.
and nothing you can do about that.
No, and it's like we were just sitting here watching
At the time,
the
you could-
replay. I mean, look at Phil Nicoletti.
yeah.
You know, I mean, we're sitting there watching him, made the main event, and then goes out for the hot lap, and bike doesn't run. So big surprises to me, I would say, on a few of those. You know, not necessarily Josh Hill, but still, I think there's a group there that I was
They
surprised.
were late entries too, both the Hill brothers.
But, you know, the Hunter thing, to me,
Yep.
even in the LCQ, Homeboy was like third to last.
Right.
And he almost got in, obviously, the very last corner. So, like,
Speed
his,
is
his
there.
speed is there. Obviously, you know, he had some issues with starts.
Luck.
There's a lot of pressure on that guy.
Well, think about nerves.
A lot of people, you know, nerves has to do with a lot of pressure as well. I mean, his first race in the 450 class, everybody's talking about him.
Right.
You know, he feels like he has to go out there and perform, obviously, and
Yeah.
I feel like his family feels that way too, and Honda definitely feels that way.
Sure.
You know, there's a lot that goes into it for him, and it honestly doesn't surprise me his first race out that there was some freaking jacked up mistakes.
Well, and I even liked after the 450 main on the podium, you know, when Jet straight out said my nerves were through the roof.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
They all are.
he's like, I would be lying to you if my nerves weren't there. And I guarantee you Hunter had the same thing. And then you think about lining up at that LCQ for Hunter. Well, you just remembered what happened to him in the heat race. So he's trying to avoid that happening again.
Yeah.
Ends up getting essentially a terrible start in the LCQ.
Right.
But the speed was there to go from basically dead last and almost pass for fourth into it. You know, I mean, I don't think anybody can doubt or question the speed. I think the nerves, the first time being on a 450,
Yep.
A1, and that's what I go back to when we talk about the vibes. You know, and we talked about this before the episode started. I wouldn't put a whole lot of weight on where everybody finished at A1 compared to where they're going to be for the season.
Right.
You know, I mean, like we said, A1.
Everybody's healthy.
Get out of there.
They're out of there.
You know,
I think the most important thing for Hunter to do is just let it go.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know it's hard to do for a racer. You know, like, it's going to be on his mind throughout the week, but like come back home or whatever they're doing during the week, let it go, move on to the next, and because you know the guy's fast.
Yeah.
You know, and as long as he just puts that behind him and goes on to the next weekend, he's perfectly capable of getting on a podium, just like we all thought.
right.
You know.
So here's the only thing I got to think about, and this is something I thought of this morning. What do you think is going through his mind this morning when he watches his brother go out there and they kept saying it's his first 450 Supercross, which technically, yes, in the Supercross series, but he did race those SMX rounds on the 450 also.
Yeah.
You know, that's why he's running that background
Yeah,
at
it's
that
for
plate.
it's for TV, man.
Yeah, I get it. So there's a little bit of TV drama added into that.
Yeah.
You know, first ever Supercross race, and he wins it. The first person to ever do that in the 50-year history of the sport. Blah blah blah. But what do you think Hunter's thinking about when he wakes up this morning? Like, man, my brother just went out there and won on his very first race, and I didn't even make the main. You think that's eating at him?
Yeah, I'm sure he's like, I had a terrible nightmare last night, and
Yeah.
it's still going.
Yeah, when am I going to wake up?
Yeah.
Well, I think he, like I said, he's got to put that past him.
Yeah.
I think it gives him more drive and ambition now after that race to come out swinging the following weekend and be like, nah, I'm not an LCQ guy. I'm Hunter Lawrence.
Right.
And
I think he will.
Yeah.
I think he will.
Absolutely, I think he will.
Yeah. I don't know if I would
He'll
change.
be riding tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I don't know
Guaranteed.
if I would change much of my top 5 even after watching 8.
no, I'll put him in my top 5 again for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, so we went through the heat races, we went through the LCQs. What would you guys say was your biggest surprise or your biggest letdown when we get into the mains?
Biggest letdown? I'd say Joe Shimoda.
Yeah.
I mean, bad starts in the heat and the main. He did good coming back, but he's just still like, those bad starts did not help him at all.
No, they did not. Definitely did not.
Biggest surprise? Again, Bolin.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe the way he come out compared to what he had been the last couple of years.
Yeah. What about you, Shaner? Anything on the mains? Biggest surprise or letdown?
Anderson really impressed me.
I would agree with that.
That was quite a performance from Anderson, man. To be honest with you, I mean, he always does pretty good at Anaheim, I feel.
Yeah.
Hopefully, honestly, I want Anderson to carry that momentum throughout the season.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully he does. Biggest letdown was my guy Mookie, man.
Yeah.
Like I just
P11 on the night for Mookie, not a great night for him.
He needs to stay off the fishing boat and freaking, you know.
Not a great night for AC. P12 for AC. You know, we had him, and we even talked about.
I put him on my top 5.
Didn't hear nothing from him all weekend.
Nothing.
All day.
Nope.
Nothing. Nothing. Qualifying, heat races, nothing.
But like we've said, every time we talk, dude, the 450 class is out of control right now.
It is.
You know, and honestly, for him to get where he got, it might make sense.
I think that
That
some
might
of
be
they're
where he
guys
is.
laid low.
Yeah.
They're healthy and get through even next week too. Same thing.
Yeah. I mean, what do they always say? The series doesn't start until Daytona. You know.
Yeah.
You got to get there to be there.
And they get sorted out, see where they're at. You know, they're not out of it.
Yeah, and none of these guys have raced. You know, they're all at a practice track. You know, running the same track, watching their lap times.
Yeah, they're not settled in.
Yeah, and the settings on the bike are going to change. Especially these first 5 rounds. I mean, the bike's going to be changing every weekend because race pace and race mode is totally different than practice track.
We've been having some issues.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. But
Well, when you look,
you know what the worst thing is, honestly, like after a race like this, whichever one of these guys that goes back and struggled and goes and tries to reinvent the wheel are the ones that aren't going to do good the rest of the season.
yeah,
That's my opinion.
you can start taking steps
I agree with
backward.
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But I mean, if you look at and I'll be the first one to admit, I had Tomac doing a lot better than P9. I thought Tomac was going to be up there battling with Jet. I thought the Tomac of last year, the champion contender, winning races. You know, yes, I understand he went through a major, injury and surgery and rehab, but a P9 is not where I saw Eli Tomac, and I'll tell you, P10 is not where I saw Ken Roczen.
Well, Ken crashed.
Yeah, Kenny and Mookie crashed together on that start.
Yeah, again, result's a result.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I know Kenny worked his way up to 10th.
Yeah.
But still, it's not where I had them overall.
They said it on the broadcast that possibly, Eli's probably going to race his way into shape.
Yeah.
And he'll be there, top 5 for sure. But yeah, I mean, it's the first race. He hasn't raced in a long time. These guys have been racing, and I think that's a true statement. I think he's gonna have to race his way into shape.
Well, we've talked
Which
about,
sucks in the beginning.
Well,
It's
he's
terrible.
letting things develop in front of him.
Yeah.
That's how I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I have definitely the most surprising for me, Cooper Webb. I was wrong.
Yeah. So
I was super wrong.
I know we mentioned talk about your biggest surprise and your biggest letdown, and we kind of went more down the path of the letdowns.
Yeah.
But on my notes that I have right here, my biggest surprise, number 1, was Webb. Mm-hmm. I think somebody made a comment or posted somewhere online. Again, don't know the accuracy behind it or the truth behind it, but said he's down almost 20 pounds compared to Paris. I mean, looked in great race shape, race form, speed was there, all over Anderson the entire main event until he goes down. The result, getting a P6, that's not where he was.
No.
He should have gotten, in my opinion, he should have gotten a P2. I think he could have gotten Anderson. He was right there with him. He was all over him.
Anderson was in the way.
And I think if he was a little bit more aggressive, he probably could have been. But again, first race of the year, let's get through the race. Let's not ruffle the waters.
I was looking forward to the last lap of that race.
Yeah.
Honestly, because I know that Cooper would have, and they even said on the broadcast, like the more the track deteriorates, the better Cooper gets, and which is a true statement because we've all seen it.
Until it bit him.
But, well, I mean, that little kicker didn't like the Yamahas. I don't know what it was.
No, it did not.
No,
it did not. So that was one of the biggest surprises. The other one, again, I don't think I gave him enough credit on the last episode, and I'll admit when I'm wrong and, put credit where credit is due, and I'm going to say Dylan Ferrandis.
Yeah.
I did not see in theirs, again, we've given credit with Heath Harrison, with David Eller, with Phoenix Honda. I think they're a great team. They're a great group of guys. They have treated us like royalty every time we've been around their semi, and we're parked next to each other at the amateur or pro races. But I did not see a Phoenix Honda beating most of these factory guys. I mean, you talk about the list of names of people behind him, which granted, some of that was self-induced, like Cooper Webb, the crash.
It was gifted a little bit.
He's a racer.
Yeah, but you know, when you think about Justin Barsha, Justin Cooper, Eli Tomac, Ken Roxon, Malcolm Stewart, Adam Cianciarillo, Christian Craig. I mean, every one of those riders I just named is on a factory team that he beat. And it's, I know they're getting great support. Phoenix Honda has a great outfit, and I'm not knocking Phoenix Honda by any way, shape, or form, but that's not a factory team. And you got this guy that left a factory team, went to Phoenix Honda, and just beat a bunch of factory guys. Now, granted, it's one race.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll see where it shakes out through the remainder of the year. But I do want to say Webb was probably my biggest surprise. My second was Ferrandis in the 450s.
Yeah.
What about another surprise, AP?
Well, see, I don't necessarily think I consider that a surprise because if I'm not mistaken, I'm the only one that put AP in my top 5.
So it wasn't a surprise to you.
I had AP in 5th on mine. I had, my picks, which we're going to get into because we got to figure out who won all that. And there's another side bet, too, that we've got to talk about. But I had AP 7 in my top 5. And for him to finish P4, I kind of thought that's where he would be. And I have a feeling, granted, again, Cooper going down, it kind of got gifted to him for a P4. He would have been P5 if Coop doesn't go down. Mm-hmm. So he would have finished exactly where I thought he would. So that's not necessarily a surprise for me. It might be, for you guys that didn't pick him. But
well, I'm starting to think that I would always identify Christian Craig and Aaron Plessinger almost like in the same vein, right?
yeah.
And so I was expecting Craig to be 5 to 10th.
Yeah.
And I think AP actually, he may be the next level above Christian Craig.
Yeah, he might be like a 3 to 6.
He may be.
I think I did mention on the last episode, though, that I feel AP's got something to prove after almost winning last year.
Right.
And I think he's more motivated. He's had quite a bit of time on that bike.
Dude, the dude's got heart.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw what happened when he almost won that race last year and goes down. The emotion, that's real raw emotion that comes out after it.
And I hope it happens this year.
I hope so too.
Absolutely. I hope he wins.
But I will say one
too.
thing that Tyler, you just brought up, and it was one of the letdowns that I did not talk about much because I don't know what happened, but that was Christian Craig.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what happened to him.
P20. I mean, that's.
I think, yeah.
Mechanical?
I don't know.
Something.
I don't know. I didn't reach out. I didn't try and ask. The only one I talked to today was Starling. But anyway.
And I think that, yes, Hunter is a letdown. But, I mean, he may be hurt or something. That was really weird. He just, mailed it in that LCQ.
Who?
Hunter.
Well, I mean, he hit the ground pretty hard.
I'm thinking he may be hurt.
Pretty hard on Friday.
Yeah, he hit the
press
ground
day.
Friday, too.
Yeah, press day he went down, and then a first turn get off.
Yeah.
In the heat race was pretty good.
Hey, old Prado didn't do bad.
I was
No, he
just
did.
I was just I was
He
looking
hung
through
right in there. He got a shot.
First freaking race? Heck yeah.
I was looking through the list right here. My very next topic was going to be is it Prado? Or
Jorge Prado.
Prado. Yeah.
I mean, for a GP guy, just look at his first.
He's a whole shot artist, though.
Dude,
He was up front.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a
did
good
great.
start. I mean, he faded definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's used to the race pace or the duration or whatever, but he definitely faded.
Yeah.
Ended up P13, but still, it was cool to see.
Yeah.
Another name, another star on the track. Another one that I was surprised with in the heat race, but then had a situation with Freezy in the main event, Dean Wilson. Dean had a pretty good heat race go. Mm-hmm. And then apparently something happened between Dean and Freezy in the main. I didn't
see it.
No, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I guess there was some type of confrontation between the two after.
And they've had problems at
That ain't the first.
at the World Supercross. They got into a couple different times.
Yeah, kind of a quiet night though there for both Justins, and I'm talking about Justin Barsha and Justin Cooper, to come in with a 7th and an 8th. Not many people talking about him. I mean, that was Cooper's first 450 race, you know, and that kind of a quiet night for them. But I would assume that at least Jay Coop, maybe not necessarily Barsha, but Jay Coop's got to be happy with a top 10.
Absolutely.
You know, in your first race, you get through a P8 and an A1. He's got to be happy with that. What about our man RJ in the 250s?
Put on a clinic.
Nailed it.
Didn't crash.
Did not
crash.
If he can continue to do that throughout the season, I don't see much competition for him.
Looks in good shape.
He looks really good right now.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a couple squirrely moments. We were talking about the very beginning, like the first 3 or 4 turns. I think he was just charging, trying to find his way and fight his way to get.
Well, if it ain't squirrely, it ain't RJ.
I know.
That's right.
But I don't want to call him a surprise because I picked him as my number 1 250 guy to win the 250s, and he did. So that's not a surprise for me.
You just like his name.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's my hometown boy, man.
RJ.
But I think that if he stays healthy and can keep it on 2 wheels, that I think he's got to be the favorite right now. Got to be the favorite, which I think there was a little bit of a question mark to it with some of the Shimoda moving over to Honda, some of the changes at PC and the Star Yamaha boys. I mean, Smith went good in his heat race. Mm-hmm. I mean, and he did good even in the main.
He came on strong at the end.
Tough to see Thrasher go down.
Yeah.
You know, not
He's had a rough go last year or so.
Not pumped to see Thrasher go down, but Smith, you know, winning the heat race and then P2 overall in the main event, you know, I think Jordan's always good.
Yeah, I think Smith can run with RJ, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think
if he would've
between
gotten
those two, they're going to compete a lot this year.
If he would have gotten a better start.
Yeah.
I think if Jordan would have gotten a better start, they would have been a little bit more of a battle there. But
Yep.
Did you guys get a feeling? I know, Peter, you and I talked about this before the show started. Did you get a feeling a little bit of A1 being one-lined and the sense of not a ton of tight battling going on? It was almost where you started is where you finished.
Yeah, I noticed that.
You know, I kind of got that vibe. And Peter, I know you and I were talking about that earlier. It's kind of like if you got a good start, you were there. Which, granted, I mean, Roxon had to come through the pack, and even in the LCQ, you know, Hunter had to come through the pack. But for the most part, at the beginning of the races, I mean, you have to get the start. The start seemed to be very important at A1.
Yeah, which is weird because it didn't, judging by the track map, it didn't look like it was going to be super one line. They did a good job not having a bunch of 90s and getting a good amount of 180s and stuff. I wonder if it was just riders being cautious, not wanting to do anything too drastic on the first one.
Didn't seem like there was major changes in the rhythms. I know in the press day, Jet busted out the 3-4-5.
Gnarly.
I don't think anybody did it during the main.
I don't think anyone did.
You know, so
Did he do it during the main?
no, I don't think anybody did. But you know, to bust that out, that could have been an option. Maybe that was something he was keeping in his pocket. That if he
needed to,
if he had to do it in the main, he would. But because he was out front and you know didn't necessarily need it. But I will say though that Jet didn't run away from you know JA and Coop. You know, I mean they stayed pretty consistent.
I think he's getting really good, even from what I saw last year. I think he's getting really good at managing the gap.
Yeah.
Like
A lot of people talked about that during the outdoors.
yeah, like he when he does lose ground or whatever, he gains it right back.
Yeah.
Almost every time.
Kind of get to a spot that
He
you
gets
wanna
that
be.
pit board and he sees that they're closing in a little bit, and the guy finds a little bit more, and I think he's getting really good at that.
Yeah, so weird how you'll watch him, and it's floating between 1 and 3 seconds. So managing the gap is confidence that if something happens, are you just not going to worry about? Think of every rider historically. I'm going to get out front, and I'm going to get a large enough gap to where if I make a mistake, it's not going to be catastrophic. I'm going to go as fast as I can and check out.
Yeah.
Whereas he seems to be riding like, let me manage the 1 to 3 second gap, and then if something happens, I'll figure out what happens at that point forward. But if I don't have to ride wide open, I'm not gonna.
I think they talked about that a lot during the outdoors. You know, him getting a big gap and then managing it. And I think at one point he said like he was only running at 80%, which how you can know what.
Well, because after doing so many laps on the track, he's got to know where there's certain sections, especially on Supercross, where he knows he can push it to gain a little bit more.
Yeah.
Not entirely around the whole track, but there's sections where he's like, all right, well, I lost a little ground last lap over here in this section. I'm just going to push it, and the guy gains it right back.
Yeah, and it goes back to what Shane was saying earlier. If Cooper gets past JA, we would have seen what happens when with exactly what Jet can do to manage that gap when somebody like Cooper Webb is coming like a freight train.
Yep. Now, staying with the 250, I know we talked about, I called RJ to win the race. He did a great job. How about Juju pulling the whole shot, leading the first lap?
Absolutely.
That was impressive for a first race, coming from Futures last year to come out to your first A1. And I know that they debated about him racing West Coast versus East Coast and giving him more time to get ready and go to East Coast. And they said, no, let's just run it and go to West. Cool to see Juju pull the whole shot, lead the first lap.
Well, did he not get passed in the first lap and then make the pass back?
Yeah. Yes, he did.
Yeah. So he was riding aggressive.
Yeah. So he got the whole shot, and he was the first lap leader. And then after that, RJ took over and led every lap after that. But seeing some of those guys change around, I do, talking about what we mentioned earlier, Joe Shimoda, I thought Joe was going to be more of a threat. Seemed like he hit the ground a couple times. It's probably starts were absolutely terrible. Got to get those figured out. Pretty impressed with Kitchen.
Yeah.
I will say the PC boys, Kitchen.
They showed some brilliance.
Kitchen and Volan both. I was surprised with. I will say I did not think that they would be in the situation. And then Jordan Smith, I think right now is probably going to be the biggest threat to RJ for the season. Bummer for Nate Thrasher. Not exactly sure on the extent of the injury just yet.
Heard nothing or seen anything posted yet.
Anything.
Definitely a bummer deal for him though. But Tyler, do you have all the picks written down from last episode of?
Yeah.
I mean, I know mine because I wrote mine down, and I picked Jet to win, and obviously he won. But I had Eli at number 2, and Eli ended up P9. I had Hunter at number 3, which obviously Hunter doesn't even make the main. Ken Roxon I had at 4, which ended up P10. And then I had AP7 in my 5th place spot, which ended up P4. So I only had 2 riders in my top 5.
Crazy, right? Yeah,
the one that won the race, and then AP7 I had in 5th, who actually ended up 4th. So that cannot have scored very well on our scoring.
On my whole fantasy, I got nothing right.
Yeah.
At all.
Well, on mine, I had 3 guys in the top 5.
Yeah. You had JA, you had Sexton and Jet. Yeah. So you had 3 out of top 5, just in different orders.
Right.
I only had 1.
Who'd you have?
Jet Lawrence. That's it. For P2, and then the rest of these yahoos are back in screwing around in 15th, 10th through 15th.
Yeah.
You know what I think also, going back to why we were talking about track was one line, was I think it was dirt. A lot of it was dirt. You see in the heat races, everyone, like Joe, knifed the front end. Kitchen, knifed the front end. Miller in the LCQ, knifed his front end.
I did notice a lot of the front ends going.
The only passes I saw a lot were after on those whoops. Whoever got the whoops down and got that pass, like where Jordan passed Juju,
Yep.
that was like the major passing point.
In the pregame show, they stressed the sand section. I didn't think that was a problem at all.
No, it didn't. It didn't really eat. It didn't eat nobody up.
Long rollers, and they
Yeah.
were jumping through them pretty quick.
Yeah.
It could have been dirt because they said there was a lot of moisture because they had rain come up. You know, when it gets evening time, the moisture starts coming up through the dirt. But honestly, too, that could be a combination of being in a hurry. You know, and it's first race, and you're really trying to put it in there, and you're rushing it. I think that's what Cooper was doing really good, was not rushing it.
Yeah, patience.
You know, he was being paid, which that guy is always like that.
Well, he's very mentally sharp.
Yeah, so he's a smart racer, and so he was being patient, and he knew the track was slippery. And
Do you have the 250s?
Yeah, I got both 250 and 450.
What was my 250s? I know I had RJ first.
Your 250 was RJ, Shimoda, Smith. Smith is 31, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Kitchen, and Volan.
So my top 5 was the 250 top 5.
Yeah.
RJ, Smith, Kitchen, Shimoda, Volan was the top 5 in 250s. So
You nailed it.
my two,
well, not in exact order, but all his guys were there for sure.
yeah, not it wasn't in the exact order, but my 250 top 5 was the 250 top 5.
No, it was Shimoda though. You picked Shimoda.
Yeah,
Shimoda
Shimoda
top
was
5.
was top 5.
Oh, was he?
Yeah,
got
he got
fifth?
4th.
Yeah, fourth.
Fourth?
Yeah.
Fourth?
Volan
he
got
got fifth.
Volan got 5th. Yeah, it was RJ Hampshire first, Jordan Smith
Oh,
second,
well, RJ nailed that one.
Levi Kitchen third, Joe Shimoda 4th, and Volan 5th.
Oh, that's right. Joe almost got third, but then
Very
it wasn't
proud of
close
you.
enough.
Yeah, so my 250.
Mine's
pick
screwed
was-
because I put Thrasher in there.
yeah, a bunch.
But
of
the
people
rest of
did.
the guys I had in there, I think
Yeah.
maybe.
Did you have Shane's 450 and 250?
Yeah, Shane's 450 is
Terrible.
Tomac, Jet, Hunter, Roxon, AC.
Oh, that is terrible.
And his 250 is Kitchen. Who's 57?
Thrasher.
Thrasher?
Thrasher.
Shimoda, RJ, and Jordan Smith.
Yeah, so everybody there but Thrasher.
Who's 34?
D-Fran,
Okay.
Ryder D. Francisco.
Never heard nothing
Quiet-
from him all night.
Quiet night, P9.
Very quiet.
Quiet night for him. And, honestly, there's a few in there. Talon Hawkins,
Yeah.
18th.
Yeah.
The number 35 of Talon Hawkins, quiet night for him. Oldenburg, I think, did you pick Oldenburg or did you pick Oldenburg?
Somebody on YouTube picked Oldenburg.
Somebody on YouTube.
Oldenburg was wrestling with the gate.
Yeah, he hit the gate at
Yeah.
the start of the main. Mumford, quiet night, P10.
Yeah.
Marchbanks, P7. Obviously Nicoletti having the mechanical. It looked like something electrical. We were talking about all the plugs on the last episode, and they were changing everything. And I'm sure Phil had some choice words underneath that helmet for them.
Well, no.
Dookie, what was your 250?
I don't know because I only.
It was Shimoda.
24.
It
Yeah.
was Shimoda.
Shimoda, DeFrancesco, Hampshire, Kitchen, Thrasher.
Oh yeah, so you're screwed. Yeah, so your 250's out of whack. Tyler,
on to
what
the
was
next week.
What was your 250?
It was Smith, Hampshire. No. Smith, Shimoda, Hampshire, Kitchen, DeFrancesco.
Yeah, so your only kicker would have been Ryder D.
Yeah, he didn't show.
Yeah, so you had a pretty good lineup there, but so I definitely won the 250s.
Yeah, no, I think
Very proud, yeah.
yeah, very proud of you.
Very proud of you.
So then we go over to the 450s. I know I terrible because I only had 2. Duke, you had 3 in 450s.
Yes.
3.
3 out of 5.
3 out of 5.
Shane, what did you have?
1.
1.
Yep.
Tyler, what did you have?
1.
3. I had 8. No, I had 18, 4, or 1. 18, 1, and 2. So me and Duke.
Well, 2 wasn't in the top 5.
Oh, never mind.
2 was 6.
Yep.
I just like to
2.
pretend that I was
18,
with Duke.
3, 94, 1, and 2 was your picks.
So it looks like Duke won.
Thank you.
Won the 450s.
Yes.
It looks like the only thing I can win is bets about Monster Girls.
Yeah, which that's going to be the next one. Now, did we have any of the online? So if you look at both top 5s, I had 5 out of 5 in the 250s. I had 2 out of 5, so I had 7 out of 10. Dookie, what'd you have? 7 out of 10?
Yeah.
So I think that I had explained it like there was going to be a 250 and a 450 winner.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
So now we got to do 2 giveaways?
Yeah.
Who had, most of the 450s online, the comments that I looked at.
How was the online response, though? Was it pretty good?
Yeah, it was good. There was quite a few people that
Really?
put their comments down, and I think most of them had the people that we all thought, right? You know, the
Right.
Hunter,
Oh, yeah.
Eli, and Roxon. There.
I'm sure there was some Barshes in there.
Yeah, I don't think there was anybody that picked a Ferrandis. Not many, if any, picked AP. I think I might have been the only one that had AP in there. But again, most of them, the Eli, the Roxon, Hunter, thinking that they're all going to be there. The 450s were kind of all over the place.
That's my problem. I always pick the most obvious. I'm a terrible bettor.
Yeah, no, I'm glad I didn't bet on 450s. I should have bet on 250s.
So on the 450 side, there was the 450 best guess was basically he got first and third in the right spot. He got Jet Lawrence and Sexton in the right spot. That was the closest anybody got in 450.
But the other 3 weren't even there.
Barsha, Stewart, and Tomac.
Oh yeah, not even close.
And that was the closest one for the 450.
Yeah, so technically Dookie won the 450s.
And
Wow. Shocker.
I'm kind of
Everyone
surprised.
bashing
With
Dookie
that,
about
Don't be surprised.
came out of left field with the JA pick.
Hey, and he did it.
And
he did it.
the 250s,
You'll wonder why your tires are flat tomorrow.
The crazy thing is I always pick Anderson.
250s
Wasn't feeling it this race. And Anderson made me look like a.
they did
But
Hampshire.
like we talked about earlier, we haven't heard nothing from him all winter.
Who was your
Oh,
best,
you know.
the best online 250?
Hampshire, Shimoda, Thrasher, Kitchen, Voland.
Yeah, so Thrasher threw that one out.
So he
Yeah, but that's a good pick because he's.
Yeah, great
Yeah.
pick. Other than Thrasher.
4
going
out
down.
of 5 in the top 5.
Yeah. So
And yeah,
did anybody beat my 5 for 5?
no.
Not online.
No.
So we don't have to do the giveaway. We can roll it to next weekend or what?
Um,
Because didn't we say on the last episode, if you beat our picks, you put your picks online on the comments. If you beat our picks before race time gate drops, the night show, before the night show started, we would give away either a beautiful pair of Oakley Airbrake Goggles, like the ones I have right here in my hand that you can see on camera. These are fantastic Oakley Airbrake Goggles that are brand new. Or we talked about, maybe a Fox gear or a jersey or something, sunglasses. But that was if you beat our pick. So right now, if we split it up, I won the 250s, Duke won the 450s, and technically we tied as the overall.
yeah, I guess you.
run it to San Francisco.
Yeah.
We run it to San Fran.
Let's go.
Is
I
it
want
a
to get in on the
Is it a fresh start?
board girl.
Well, we need to do our picks for San Fran, but we got to go over our other. We had one more bet
Winner, chicken dinner.
that went over, a $20 deal between Shane and myself. What was the bet exactly? It was the hair color of the 30-second board.
450 main 30-second board Monster Girl.
Yeah, I went with blonde.
You went with blonde. I went with brunette.
You almost had a panic attack.
I had a panic attack because the girl for the 250 class was redhead, and I thought they were just going to leave her out there for the 450, but they switched it up and brought out this really beautiful brunette, and I was super excited. I didn't even watch the main after that because I was just stoked on the win from the board girl.
Yeah, because you were like, I never win
I
anything.
never win nothing because I always pick the most obvious riders.
But everybody that's watching on YouTube can see right here on the table,
RJ pays his bets,
I paid my bets.
and
I paid my bets.
not sure if I should double this up for next weekend.
Double or nothing.
No, I don't want to.
You don't want to because you know why? Because they probably use the same brunette for every 450 main.
Yeah.
Redhead.
So we have San Francisco next weekend. So we look at this race, and what we've learned is we've got a bunch of really fast guys in the entire 450 field. Guys that should be making mains that didn't. And you look all the way back to, the P12 and P13 spots, and you've got factory guys out there. The lights class, I think you've got probably 6 to 8 that could be a podium threat, or a top 5 threats, 6 to 8 riders there that could be a podium threat on any weekend. So if we take what we watched last night and we roll it into San Fran for next weekend.
Are you going to do picks on this show? Oh.
Yeah, we're going to do picks again for San
I wasn't
Fran.
ready for that.
Well, start thinking.
Oh, gosh.
So, Tyler, we do need to come up with, and we can do it after the show and sit down and come up with the exact formula, because is it just how many riders total you had in the top 5 out of each class, or are you going to do some type of point structure about where they finished in each class?
I mean, I guess what I'll start with is just the numbers game. How many people you had, and then the secondary tier would be
if there's a tie,
how many people you had in the right spot, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
If we have to start like counting all of your top 5 and then basing the differences between the people you missed.
Yeah. Well, and I know that there's ways that we did it before, is that you put out who you think your top 5 is going to be, and then you put whatever position they finished, and when you add all of those totals up, the lowest score wins. Mm-hmm. Because that's another way to do it. If you think your top 5 is going to be these 5 guys, then you basically say, wherever those 5 finished, like Thrasher would have gotten 20 points because he got 20th, or 21 points because he got 21st place. So at the end of your tally of your 5 riders, the lowest score out of all your 5. So your top 5 don't necessarily have to finish in that order. You think they will, but they don't necessarily have to. You just put whatever position they finished, and the lowest score wins.
Wouldn't there be an opportunity though for somebody who didn't pick somebody in the top 5 could win?
What do you mean? Like say somebody picked the guys that went 3 through.
Yeah, let's say I
8.
picked 5 guys, but my 5 guys finished 4th or 3rd through 7th.
Yeah.
And then somebody else got like
1, 2, 10, and 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you. Well, we'll stay with the way that we have it for right now. So
Hey, start your picks, man. I'm 46. My prostate's acting up.
go for it.
Sometimes my prostate can hold up really good. You
Gotta
know,
go.
but right now I gotta go. I'll be right back, boys.
Go for
Start
it.
your picks.
Go
I
for
think you
it.
don't got that onesie on.
So I think that we will stay the way that we're talking about right now, is how many out of your top 5 get it, and then if you have a tie, you start looking at where they're placed. And
Yeah, we go down the list until we're
Tyler takes care of that, though, right?
yeah, Tyler's good at keeping track of all that. So let's start.
Because he ain't got nothing else to do.
No, not
Got
at
a
all.
Yamaha. They don't take no maintenance. You just ride them.
Just a bunch of electrical changes.
Exactly.
Unplugging and plugging.
When you're at the starting line.
All right, so we're going to go into San Fran picks based off of what we saw at A1.
Hold on. You want to know something funny?
Uh-oh.
I thought on my 2020 Yamaha, I thought that I had a fuel pump die on me on the face of a jump. And speaking of the electrical, I did all the electrical work. Replaced the fuel pump, everything. It ended up being the spark plug. I spent like $400. Yeah, I spent like $400 trying to replace all this stuff, and it was just a spark
Oh
plug.
my God! How'd you make out on that?
I realized that, I should have known better. These Yamahas, they're
Always-
bulletproof.
When they die, the first thing you always check is make sure you got fuel. Make sure it's getting fuel. Make sure it's getting spark. Then
How am I supposed to say, is it
Air
getting
filter.
fuel, spark, or what?
well, when you're doing your diagnostics,
Yeah, but it's an electric start fuel injected motocross bike at this point. It's not a carburetor. It's
still
not
has
a.
to have fuel to run, a spark to burn the fuel to make it run.
I understand.
And a computer to tell it how much fuel to shoot out the injector jack.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's kind of what he's saying is, how do I know? Am I just able to like take off the injector and just squirt it in the air and be like, oh, it looks good?
But it wasn't popping at all.
It would start for like 2 to 3 seconds.
So you were getting a little fuel.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you need a really nice lithium battery
You do.
to get that thing cranked over.
We got some
Make it
shop
breathe.
right now that's
Make it-
having a hell of a time.
Make it breathe fire. You know what I mean?
I gave him a brand new lithium battery. He's already run that down.
Really? Doesn't know what a battery charger is?
He's got one of them too. He's charging one while he's wrecking the other one.
Gotcha.
Then once he turns it over 10,000 times and he switches batteries and puts the other one back on the.
Sometimes, you know what's worked for me sometimes is just to talk to the bike and be like, can you just run better for me, please?
I keep the seat on it and give her one of these.
Yeah, just pet it and treat it nice. They'll treat you nice back.
Nice kitty cat.
That's right.
Nice kitty cat.
All right. You ready for me to get going?
Yes, let's do it.
Get going.
San Fran picks. And this is tough because my top 5 for my 250s were spot on. So I would say that I would just stay with the exact same lineup that I had for A1. But the only change that I'm going to make is I'm going to go RJ with a win.
This is 250.
250.
Hang on, let me make an adjustment.
Unless RJ switched to 450s.
Hey, I have a question about San Fran.
Uh-huh.
Keep on subject, but are they racing in the Giant Stadium, the baseball stadium, or are they racing in the football stadium?
I have no idea.
I want to say, I'm guessing.
Football, right?
Somebody can look that up quick.
Yeah, we can look it up.
I think I was going to guess the baseball stadium.
Because when I used to go to San Fran, we raced in the baseball stadium, but I have been in the football stadium because they built a new one.
Stadium.
Yeah, it's a newer one.
Yeah.
So probably the football stadium, I would imagine.
I would think so.
Okay, so RJ's got RJ, and then
Yeah, so I'm going to go with RJ first. I'm going to go Jordan Smith. I think that's going to be RJ's biggest threat for the season. I think Joe Show works on some starts this week. I think Joe Show figures some things out and gets up there into third. So Joe Show number 30. Max Volan was extremely impressive to me. The heat race win and watching him throughout, the main event. I think it was good. The only change I would have without going with the exact same picks as last weekend is my 5th place guy, and I'm going to go with Ryder D.
34?
Number 34 in 5th.
okay.
Interesting.
Very quiet night for him at A1, but again,
Yeah.
I don't put a whole lot of stock into A1. I think just like Dookie mentioned earlier in the episode, I think there's a lot of mentality of just get through the race healthy, get through the race safe, figure out what the race pace is, figure out some adjustments that need to be made during the week, and then you make them and you go to San Fran and you do better.
I said all that?
Yeah, essentially.
Fart smeller.
I guess. Yeah, I know what's going on, don't I?
So as far as the 450 goes, I called Jet for the win in A1, and to be honest, I think he does it again. I think he does it again in San Fran. I'm not calling a perfect season for Jet by any means, because I think that if Coop got around JA, Coop probably could have come up there and put some pressure on him, but we don't know that because we didn't get to see it. So if Jet can continue with his starts, I'm going with Jet. Number 1. After watching the performance, I'm going with Coop. Number 2. My 3rd place spot is going to be Chase Sexton, who I do not believe I even had him in my top 5 last time,
I
but
did not.
I think that, watching his main event and the consistency that he had, I think that he's going to be there. Not necessarily saying he's the fastest guy on the track, but I think
That's why you picked him 3rd.
he puts himself in the right positions. I'm going to go with Kenny in the number 4th place spot. I think Kenny had a terrible start, got tangled up, worked his way up through in a track that seemed to be a little bit one line to me, and was able to get all the way up to 10th. I think that if Kenny gets a better start, then he could probably put himself in the top 5. And my final 5th, and I'm going to stay with my stud, AP 7. So that would be Jet, Cooper Webb, Chase Sexton, Ken Roxon, Aaron Plessinger, my top 5 for 450.
Okay. Shane, you're next. Are you not ready? Are you not ready to order?
No, I'm ready.
Okay.
I think San Francisco is Coop's kind of town.
Hold on, 250.
Start with 250s.
Kind of town.
250s.
Yep.
They're before the 450s.
I'm going to go with my boy Kitchen again.
What number is that?
47.
Number 47.
I should have known that. God dang it.
Sorry, dude. It takes a minute.
It does.
And then I'm going to go Smith for P2.
So 31.
Yep, 31 Smith, P2.
Jordan Smythe.
Smythe. RJ Hampshire third.
So the 24.
And then I'm going to go with, God, I wish there was an IR report, to be honest with you right now.
Yeah, because you don't know about Thrasher.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you still got people out there. I mean, you got Shimoda, you got Volan, you got Juju. Juju had a great one.
Put Shimoda P4 and Juju P5.
Okay. So number 30, Shimoda, Joe Show.
I think Juju had a pretty good confidence builder. I think he's gonna. Now the jitters are out for that kid. I think he's got a possible top five this weekend.
What's his last name again?
Bomber.
Bomber.
All right, so 450s.
Bomier. 450s, like I said, Coop. He's kind of town. I think he's gonna feel the vibe of San Fran.
Okay.
I got number 18 P2.
Okay.
I think Anderson's gonna get a third again.
Okay, so JA 21 is going to be P3.
P4 Sexton. P5 Ken Roxon.
Okay. That's good because we've got some different order and different people between ours. So that's good. All right, Duke, you ready?
Yep. 250s. Number 24. Number 30. 47. 34. 31. See how positive I am of that?
All right.
Organized.
So for the people listening and don't know all the numbers and the people off the top of their head, 24 is going to be RJ Hampshire. Number 30 is going to be Joe Shimoda. So the Joe Show. And then 47, that's Kitchen. And then the 34 is Ryder D.
Yep.
And then the 31 is Jordan Smith.
Yep. We should do like a wild card.
Yeah.
929.
What did 929 finish?
Sixth.
6th.
Pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely.
For your first pro race?
race.
Yeah.
That's why I think he's got a top 5 in him next weekend.
Oh, yeah. And just like that, I mean, you don't know an injury report. I mean, if Thrasher's out,
Yeah, that's one more spot.
he gets another great start. And, I'm not saying anything's handed to anybody, but, I mean, all it would have taken is one guy to go down in front of him, and he gets a top 5.
I think Volan's going to have some kind of issue next weekend, whether it's somebody breaking into his car, stealing his stuff. Something's going to happen to Volan next weekend, and I don't see him in the top 5.
Okay. All right. Duke, who's your 450?
Number 1. 21. 2. 18. 3.
Oh, really? Okay.
I got a question for you, dude.
Yes, sir.
Which we haven't talked about on the show, but you think after Sexton's comment on the podium that he's going to pull off a win next weekend?
Yep.
All right.
I'm going to stay with him. He's my guy.
Okay.
What's my shirt say?
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
It says
Super Bowl
something.
champions.
Yeah, it says something about the Buccaneers, or
It says 450 Supercross champion.
oh, I thought it said.
That's the ring.
I thought that said.
No, nothing to say Buccaneers. If I was going to wear it, won't ever say Buccaneers. It'll say
I thought that said Tom Brady, champion.
my guy is. Now I can't even think of his name.
Ah,
Baker Mayfield.
That's the Bucs quarterback.
He is. Baker Mayfield is a man.
I thought you were going to say,
Tyler, you ready for your picks?
yeah.
All right, hit me with your 250s.
31, 30. Sorry, 31, 24.
Whoa.
No. 31, 30.
Good thing I know how to scribble.
Sorry. I'm writing it down too.
31-30.
31, 30, 47.
Yep. Okay.
24.
All right.
682.
Let's do.
929.
I'm thinking 929, but I'm
Yeah,
gonna go.
come on, go for him.
I'm gonna go. Okay, fine. 929.
Yeah, good
So-
man.
so
I
nobody-
think that's a great choice.
Okay, 929.
I was gonna say Volan, but
Well, it's good.
He heard my story about the parking lot.
Yeah. So the thing is that, yeah, you and Shane have the exact same 250s.
oh really?
Yeah, just in different orders.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's not the same.
So we're leaving that up to Tyler to determine how to do tiebreakers. So if you have all five in the top five, then you're going to have to start going through who finished in the
Yeah.
exact orders.
Yeah, and it would be as simple as I got 2 and Shane got 3 in the correct spot.
Yeah.
Hey, can I change my P5?
Nope.
No.
Why?
It's already done.
No, it's not already done. What you want to do?
Why? I would just wanted to, instead of Juju, I want to put Nicoletti.
Oh, that was my Nicoletti. I was gonna do that.
Well, that would be good because that would give you guys a different lineup because
F yeah, you can.
you know right now,
No, I wanted to switch to Nicoletti too.
yeah, Duke and I are fairly close, but we're not exactly the same.
We're brothers from different mothers.
We're pretty close. You guys, so you're going to switch. Your fifth is going to be, what is 36?
Yep.
Nicoletti.
Oh, I thought he was 69 from last year.
No, 36 is Nicoletti.
Man, good thing I know how to scribble.
Okay, so Tyler, 450s.
18 to 21.
Okay.
Hang on. 21. 194.
Oh, that's good.
That's pretty stacked.
You have the exact same order as Shane.
No, I put 2.
No, you have the same top five. The only difference is that
2 and 18.
2 and 18 are switched. Mm-hmm. That's the only difference. So your 3, 4, and 5 is the exact same. But still, that's fine. That's fine. Peter, you want to get in on this week?
Sure.
You want to get in on San Fran?
Of course.
250.
Give us your 250s, Peter.
250. Number 30, 24, 31, 47, and 20.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
He's a Joe Shimoda guy.
20.
Good for you.
JoJo.
Yeah, Joe.
I would put Juju up there, but I feel like he's going to start going good, but there's going to be some mistakes, and it's going to cost him.
Yeah.
And he faded, which I get is his first race, but I don't think in a week you can be up in top 5 and not fade.
He's from Arizona.
No, I get you. And I think you all, I mean, honestly, all of our lineups are very close.
What's
I
that,
mean,
what's that have to do with San Francisco?
our 250s are almost all only separated by 1 or 2 people. It's basically who's choosing to go with, either Juju, Nicoletti, Ryder D, or Max. Those are about the only separators. Everybody else, everybody has picked JoJo. Everybody's picked Jordan Smith. Everybody has picked RJ because I think they proved this weekend that, that's where they belong.
They're contenders, yeah.
So I think the only real difference is who's going to be the maybe 4, 5, 6 place guy. So give me your 450s, Peter.
Number 18, 21, number 1, number 2, and then 27.
Oh, you're
Whoa.
thinking a bounce back, huh?
Right on, brother.
I put Anderson up there because I don't know if anyone noticed, but normally you see him, he's kind of low. He's low. He's lay low. But when he comes in, the A1 this year, he was happy, smiling. Any picture, on the podium, he's smiling, looks happy, regenerated.
Yeah.
Don't chase where you put him in your pick. That's bold.
He's my guy, but I'm not.
Come on now, that ain't even bullshit. That's horseshit.
Thanks for the button, Duke.
You're welcome.
No, that's a solid pick. I mean, the cool thing there is, we all have somebody in our top 5 on the 450 side that wasn't really close this week, whether it, was Kenny or E.T., Malcolm. It'll be interesting to see.
You guys gave up on Eli's so fast.
I didn't.
No,
I think he's
Duke,
gonna get better
Duke's
and
got
better
him.
each day.
I got him.
Or each
I
weekend.
I can't pick anybody because like you said about Eli, yeah, like Eli's probably gonna get third,
Right.
but you know,
Yeah.
there's too many freaking guys. I bet you Barshik wins the dang race next weekend.
I think my mentality is I'm
I'd be a happy
surprised.
camper.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And nobody went with Ferrandis.
I'm surprised about Eli in 10th, but I'm not writing him off.
Right.
No way.
Well, I think Shane hit the nail on the head when you're talking about racing back into race shape.
Yep.
You know, that's something I could see Eli only improving for the remainder of the season. Outside of that, though, I mean, our picks are fairly similar, but
Wouldn't that surprise you, though, to have the star Yamaha's star rider be like, you know, I'm just going to race my way back into shape, you know?
yeah.
I mean, I don't.
He's in shape.
He's in shape, but he's only he got on Supercross in November.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
these other guys have been they raced the World Supercross like Coop and Jet and
yeah.
They got gate drops on him.
Well, and they did some off.
and they raced
races.
Paris and
Yeah, they did some off-season stuff too. So I'm definitely not going to write them off. But I think for an A1 review show, you know, that's a pretty fun review of the weekend to be able to see all the different things and the hype and the vibes. But again, I don't put a whole lot of stock into one race, so I'm excited. Just as fast as A1 has come and gone, I'm excited for San Fran next weekend, and hopefully we get an opportunity to watch the race and get another podcast out as soon as possible, you know, after the race and do a San Fran review. You know, I know we got a lot of different stuff going on. We've got the Winter Rams going on. And Tyler, you were out at a FTR today, the one at Munden Hill that Shane and we raced that race last year, and
a few times.
this year just didn't I mean, just time. I mean,
You're still worn out from last year.
yeah, I'm still recovering.
That's the one where you beat me
Yeah, yep.
by barely.
Yeah, but between FTRs going on, and then we also have the Winter Rams going on. I think next weekend is what, Dade City?
Yep.
Yeah, Dade City's next
Dade
weekend.
City, yeah.
Yep. So we got kind of a local one for us, and it'll be tough to try and figure out how to get a podcast out as quick as we can, but we'll figure out a way to make it happen. I enjoy doing these, and again, I want to continue the online comments. You have to be a subscriber of the YouTube Future MX YouTube channel. So you have to be a subscriber on the YouTube channel, and then you have to put your picks, your top 5 250 and top 5 450, and have them in the order you think that they're going to finish in before the night show starts. So once the first gate drop, the very first 250 heat takes off, it's closed. It's obviously time stamped of when you put your post online. So I want to continue that, and we'll give away a pair of these Oakley Airbrake Goggles right here sitting on this table.
The sweet Oakley O-frames. The sweet Oakley crowbars.
Airbrake.
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 We'll run some air brakes, and we'll throw some extra tear-offs in the pack for you, and we can ship it out to anybody that beats our pick. So you have to not only pick the correct people, but also have them in the right order. And if we have any type of ties, you know, we'll figure out how to get through there. But
Yeah, you're effectively playing us now.
yeah.
Okay.
So if anybody's online pick beats one of ours, then they win. And if not, we'll roll it over to the next weekend. Where are they at after San Fran? San Diego?
San Diego.
And then they go back to Anaheim,
Yep.
which is a Triple Crown, I think.
Then they go to Arizona.
Yeah. So
Oh,
That's where Juju.
that's where Juju's gonna shine, huh?
Yeah.
Right down the street from Havasu.
Absolutely. And that's where his trainer is.
Anaheim 2.
Davey
Triple Crown,
Millsaps.
And Futures.
yep.
That'll be another good
Yeah,
one,
they
too.
have. That's Triple Crown's good. I like Triple Crowns.
Yeah,
That's
those are
real racing
fun.
there.
We went out last year. We flew out to A2 for the Triple Crown, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I had a blast.
Well, I appreciate everybody that listens to the episode, and I do appreciate the people that commented online. I think what'd you say the closest person online in the order was Connor Morris?
Yes. 250, 450 was two different.
Two different people.
Yeah.
I know Connor was one of them. I've known Connor and the Morris family for a long time. They're great people, and spent a lot of time with them when I was back in the iMoto days and Connor was racing. And Connor's got a gig going on right now where he's cooking some food, and he helped feed us some during the week of Minios, and went over to his food trailer that he had, which was phenomenal. So a nice little shout out there for Connor for.
What's his food deal?
It's a barbecue trailer.
Cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
it was awesome.
I didn't go over there.
Oh, it was so good.
I had no clue.
Is he over there smoking meat or what?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, had a big spread, man. Briskets, ribs, all kinds of stuff.
Oh, sounds so good.
But no, it was cool when I saw Connor comment on it. You know, that was cool too. But again, just for wrapping up episode number 37.
I got a question for you.
Uh-oh.
Do I need to give a percentage of this to the Hard Rock Casino?
Oh, probably.
Okay. I don't want to get in trouble. We are on YouTube.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to figure that part out.
Come get it.
Don't get it from me.
Next episode.
Drive up in their station wagon. Get a couple bucks.
Well, if anybody wants to jump in online, make sure you put it in the comments and make sure you subscribe because that is a requirement. You got to be a subscriber on our YouTube channel, and please spread the word to all your family and friends to subscribe and listen to the episodes, but we greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Peter Parente, for coming on. Again,
you.
Dave Duke Prepared, Sugar Shane, Tyler Kasha, I'm RJ Huss. That's episode 37. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you.